between from surface area to volume. We've touched on it some, but we are actually going to look at the difference between the volume of a prism and a pyramid. So a pyramid is a three-dimensional figure with one base that is a polygon. Two-dimensional pattern of a three-dimensional figure, the net. So let's do models of both a prism and a pyramid. So here are the nets of our prism and our pyramid, and this has 5 congruent, 4 congruent isosceles triangles. So if you look, the pyramids and the prism we're going to use isn't quite the same figures as that are on here, but you'll see the difference. So we're going to fill our, so here is our prism. As you can see, it is 1¼ by 3 inches high. And then here is our pyramid, and it is also 3¼ inches high and 3 inches at the base. So if we put these bases together, you can see that these are the same size, and let's see if I can show that they are in fact the same height. So we're going to fill our pyramid, and we're going to see how many of these it takes to fill up our prism. Okay, so our pyramid is full, and then I'm going to pour it into our prism. So we're not quite full yet. Looks about a little less than half. So this is our second pyramid that we're pouring into our prism that has the same size base and height. And now we're going to put the third one in there. Trying to be careful so I don't spill it everywhere. So you can see that it took, I wish I could show you. See, this is full all the way to the top. It took exactly 3 pyramids that have the same size base and height as this prism to fill it up. So I'm going to pour my rice back in here. So now we're going to discuss what we found with our little experiment after I get the rice off my paper. So bear with me, some of these questions are a little repetitive, but let's get started. It took 3 pyramids of rice to fill the prism. So the square prism container holds 3 times as much popcorn as the square pyramid container. So what we were comparing, if we read the top, a movie theater has 2 different containers of popcorn, a square pyramid and a square prism, and both containers have the same height and congruent bases. Determine which container holds more. So we determined that the square prism or the rectangular prism with the same dimensions holds 3 times as much rice or popcorn as the square pyramid. So square prism holds 3 times as much as the square pyramid. Okay, let's go on to the next page. And now we have the nets comparing a rectangular prism and a rectangular pyramid. So how many pyramids of rice did it take to fill the prism? It took 3. pyramids of rice to fill the prism. What is true about the bases of a rectangular prism and the rectangular pyramid and the height? Both the bases and the heights were the same. We're going to say were congruent. Which means equal. Congruent and equal means the same thing. Okay, now let's look at our activity that we did. What was, so we're comparing these up here. Now they're asking us to compare our activity that we did with the rice and both bases and heights were congruent on that, on our experiment too. So now we're going to analyze and reflect. So explain verbally the relationship between the volume of the rectangular prism and a rectangular pyramid having both congruent bases. So the volume of the rectangular prism is 3 times the volume of the rectangular pyramid when the bases and the heights are the same. So now I'm going to write that. So the volume of the rectangular prism is 3 times the volume of the rectangular pyramid. So what is the formula of the volume of a prism? So if you look on your formula chart, you will find the formula to be of a prism, volume equals big B times height. Remember, big B is area of the base. So in this case, the area of both the base, a rectangle, which is going to be base times height. Okay? So base times height times is the area of the base times the height of the pyramid or the prism. And so for exercise 1, let's not do that. Let's just move on to number 6. So if we were finding the relationship between the volume of a rectangular prism and a rectangular pyramid, the volume of a pyramid would be big B times height, and we said that it takes 3 of the pyramids to fill up 1 prism. So the volume of a rectangular pyramid is going to be big B times height divided by 3. Okay. I don't know where this exercise 1 is they're talking about, so we're going to move on. Okay. Now on to the next page, 649. Draw the nets of a triangular prism and a triangular pyramid shown below. Oh, we're not going to do that. If we notice, if this is square, then all the triangles are congruent. So 3 congruent equilateral triangles with the base height of 4. So we're not gonna do this again. We already did this experiment. So it took 3 pyramids of rice to fill the prism. So a triangular prism holds 3 times as much rice as the triangle pyramid. Since the formula volume of a triangular prism is base times height, big B times height, then the formula volume of a triangular pyramid is 1/3 times base times height, or I prefer to write it big B times height divided by 3. How many pyramids of rice did it take to fill the prism? 3. And what was true about our bases and our height? Bases and heights are equal. What fraction of the volume of a triangular pyramid? We already deducted that it's 1/3. Sorry. Okay, so that concludes, the back is just a repeat of the former page. So that concludes our activity on our hands-on experiment of the relationship between a rectangular prism and a rectangular pyramid.